What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE goes too far and bans Andrade for 1 year, AI is taking over WWE, a top WWE star out until 2026, main roster call-ups are being planned, where is Nikki Bella, Vince McMahon scores a huge win, condolences to Sheamus, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now first story looks at WWE bans Andrade for 1 year. Now, our top story today takes a look at the fallout from Andrade's WWE exit. Now it's been surfaced that Andrade may not be able to be featured on AEW television for a whole year. Fans were utterly confused when Andrade reappeared on AEW programming, then suddenly disappeared as if it never happened. It was reported earlier this week that AEW had received a cease and desist from WWE as Andrade had a non-compete and it was in breach. To make things even worse, it's now surfaced that the new TKO contracts have a clause that if talent breaches these initial non-compete terms, they will be unable to work in another promotion for an entire year. PW Insider were the first outlet to break this shocking story, and it has since been corroborated by numerous sources. In relation to how Andrade is taking the news, Fightful Select reports that the former WWE US champion has a good lawyer, so if he needs to fight it legally, he will. A number of people have indicated to Fightful Select that Andrade has a very good lawyer, but didn't specify if he was fighting it. The 90-day period is often referred to as a non-compete, but is actually more of a notice of contract expiration as talent gets paid. PW Insider reported that Andrade would not be getting paid during that non-compete. The conflicting element is that almost any court situation to fight it would extend past the 90 days. However, that's where things differ from the norm. Fightful Select have also been able to provide the exact clause in the WWE talent's contract, and the clause relating to the year-long ban reads, "Upon termination of this agreement by promoter for breach of the terms hereof, wrestler shall not work, appear, or perform in any capacity for any professional wrestling, sports entertainment, mixed martial arts, and/or ultimate fighting organization, promotion, or entity not owned or controlled by promoter or any affiliated or any subsidiary company thereof in the US for a period of up to 1 year from the date of such expiration or termination as specified by promoter in notice of termination, provided however if no less a period is specified by promoter in the notice of termination, such period shall be 1 year. And numerous sources, including Fightful Select, have pointed out that there's no way this holds up in court. This is such a bold clause to include in a contract, and it's surprised that this clause hasn't been leaked online before the Andrade incident. Tony Khan has been asked outright what is happening with Andrade in his contract, and in a worrying move, Khan revealed that he's unable to say much on the topic. Speaking on a media call yesterday, the AEW president stated, "Yeah, I would just echo the sentiments. Again, when Andrade had initially left in 2023, I have a ton of respect for him. I'm saying as much as I can about it. But I appreciate you asking, and I'm excited to see what's next for Andrade." Again, this is somebody that I think is just an incredible wrestler I really enjoy working with in the past, and I'm excited to see what's next for him. Thank you for asking. Now, this story is such a heinous look for WWE and TKO, and it may be in their best interest for them to release a statement of sorts, as a lot of mainstream media outlets are picking up on the story, and they will no doubt want to avoid this negative PR. Next up, AI is taking over WWE. AI being used in WWE was inevitable, and it turns out that WWE has hired a new director of creative strategy who's in charge of WWE transitioning to AI-based storytelling. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the new role is being introduced so WWE can move forward with AI, and Triple H can focus on political aspirations. Cyrus Kosari was hired last month as the new senior director of creative strategy. He had previously been a producer for BuzzFeed from 2016 to 2022, and for One, the MMA company, from 2022 until last month. He was introduced to the creative staff by Paul Levesque. In introducing him, Levesque said that Kosari would lead WWE's transition into AI-based storytelling and integrate AI into creative services like video and graphics. He said that this shift is inevitable when it comes to creative in pro wrestling. Kosari said that he would both manage AI storytelling and would be liaison to the White House as Levesque is taking on more duties in politics in some form. The report adds that WWE has a contract with Writer AI, and the program offered some of the most bizarre pitches imaginable. WWE has a contract with Writer AI, a platform which has already been fed WWE content. Thus far, the AI software has come up with one person with knowledge of the situation called absurdly bad storylines. They pitched a storyline where Bobby Lashley, who I guess AI thought was still in the company, could come back as a wrestler who was obsessed with Japanese culture and history. But the feeling is once bugs are worked out, that AI will begin to have this major impact on storyline direction. Now this is really concerning. Firstly, AI could be replacing jobs in the foreseeable future, as why would they even need human writers? And the fact that it's coming up with some absurd storylines is really worrying. What do you guys think of AI taking over WWE? Next up, John Cena winning the IC title. Now there's been a pitch in WWE to see John Cena win the IC title. According to Meltzer in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the pitch will see Cena win the title at Survivor Series, then defend against Gunther in his final match. The idea of Cena winning the IC title from Dominic, the match right now is at Survivor Series, and it being in play for the final match with Gunther has been discussed. The Intercontinental title is the only title Cena needs to complete the Grand Slam, and Cena winning that one title that's eluded him would be a huge deal. Next up, a Batista return has been pitched. John Cena's final match is just 2 months away, and one WWE correspondent is pushing for Batista to return to the ring to wrestle Cena one final time. The WWE correspondent in question is Peter Rosenberg, who had this to say during an interview with Chris Van Vliet. Because we talked about all the people who make sense, and a name that just hasn't gotten mentioned very much it's super unlikely, and I'm probably reaching here, but when you think about what they represent at a certain time, the last Saturday night's main event happened to be in DC. If you hear this, playing Batista's theme, I think he meant that, Batista saying he's retired, and I respect that. I personally, as a fan, and who cares what we think, it's about what he wants in life, but I'm selfish and I'm a fan. I'm not satisfied with the ending. I would love to see Batista one more time. I think there's more. I think there's just one more story to be told. Batista last wrestled back in 2019 at WrestleMania 35 against Triple H, and Batista has shut down any in-ring return a number of times since. Batista is truly thriving in Hollywood, and it seems extremely unlikely that he'd be able to agree to making a one-off return just to wrestle Cena. Next up, a top WWE star out for a long time. Now yesterday was reported that Jacob Fatu was injured, and now it's surfaced that Fatu's injury is so severe that he could be out of action well into 2026. Bodyslam Plus via Patreon offered an update on Fatu, which stated, Bodyslam has learned that Jacob Fatu is dealing with a non-wrestling related injury that is expected to keep him out of action for a very extended period, possibly well into 2026. Fatu had recently entered WWE's orbit with major plans in motion. He was being involved with a program with Drew McIntyre with long-term creative pointing toward a marquee clash with undisputed champion Cody Rhodes. WWE saw Fatu as a potential breakout force, and his arrival was generating buzz across the locker room and fan circles alike. But this is a significant blow for WWE. Fatu was one of the most popular stars on the roster, and with him being destined for a feud with Drew McIntyre and then seemingly Cody Rhodes, this has drastically altered their creative plans. As things stand, Fatu vs McIntyre is still scheduled for SmackDown tonight, but it's possible that WWE uses the match to write him off TV indefinitely. Next up, main roster call-ups being planned. Now in the wake of Jacob Fatu being injured, it's now been reported that WWE are planning call-ups to the Blue brand. According to WRKD Wrestling on X, call-ups to SmackDown should be expected sooner rather than later. Expect to see some call-ups to the SmackDown roster sooner rather than later to fill some of the gaps left by recent injuries and to help freshen up the product. There is now speculation on social media in relation to who exactly will be called up. One of the most popular suggestions is Oba Femi. Femi recently dropped the NXT title, and he could easily be established as an upper echelon guy on SmackDown. Other popular picks include Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, as well as Jordan Grace, so it'll be interesting to see who WWE decides to call up. Next up, a WWE name helping Seth Rollins. A WWE star has taken to X to offer his services to help Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch against the Vision. Omos revealed on X that he's available to help Lynch if she needs some assistance, and Lynch even quoted Omos' post with a thinking emoji. The response from fans to the idea is overwhelmingly positive, and this could be such a fun angle. Lynch hiring Omos to take care of the Vision would be perfectly in line with her character, and anything that gets the Nigerian giant back on television is a massive win. Omos recently returned to NXT via the live event circuit, and as always, he is receiving fantastic reactions at this show. It's still completely baffling as to why Omos isn't used on the main roster in any capacity. He has a ton of potential, and he's one of the most likable and authentic names on the entire WWE roster. Hopefully Lynch pushes for this idea, as it could truly generate a major angle for the Raw brand. Next up, condolences to Sheamus. The WWE star Sheamus has now shared some heartbreaking news as his beloved dog Betty has died. The loss comes just weeks after Betty completed her final round of chemotherapy. In a heartfelt Instagram post, Sheamus reflected on the profound impact that she had on him and his family, saying that although their time together was far too short, he would never regret bringing her into their lives. Sheamus recalled meeting Betty, a chunky little pup, at the National Humane Association and instantly knowing she belonged with him. Even after losing a leg to cancer, she never lost her spirit, and he said his wife Isabella also paid tribute to Betty, calling her the happiest, sweetest, silliest girl until the very end. In response, fans, friends, and fellow wrestlers flooded social media with condolences to Sheamus and his family. And despite the grief, the tributes underlined just how deeply loved Betty was. We're offering our condolences to Sheamus and his family. Next up, where is Nikki Bella? Now, earlier this year, Nikki Bella returned to WWE television and it was said to be an extended run with her having multiple matches. Weirdly, Nikki has now disappeared completely from television, and this has led to fans speculating that the initial reports weren't correct, and Nikki's WWE run is over. However, according to Fightful Select Q&A, Nikki's run has yet to have been brought to a close. I haven't heard that it's done. The last I heard she would be around here and there. However, I don't know if there were any real plans for her in Australia, so there wasn't a great need to have her around for the build to that. They expect Nikki to be on show for a while from everything that I've heard. Interestingly, it was also revealed that Trish Stratus could be popping up for a few more times this year. WWE also expected Trish to pop up more than she did this year. When it comes to Nikki Bella, it would make a ton of sense to move her to the SmackDown brand, as SmackDown is in dire need of fresh faces in the female division, and she more than fits the bill. Nikki is one of the most experienced women in WWE right now, and there's even been pitches from fans on social media to see her turn heel and feud with the women's champion Tiffany Stratton. And finally, Vince McMahon scores a huge win. Now, final story today takes a look at the latest when it comes to Vince McMahon's charges for reckless driving. Yesterday, McMahon was granted a pre-trial probationary program which can eliminate a reckless driving charge. The terms of this program state that the 80-year-old will be dismissed from charges of reckless driving and following too closely resulting in an accident. That is if he can keep a clean record until October next year. McMahon will also make a $1,000 donation to a charity as part of the terms. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.